Okay. We left off. We were looking at importing data and converting it over to using fetch, and realized that we actually needed to create an endpoint. So we dove into endpoints, and that's where we left off. We kind of got it working. Let's just pull that back up. So basically, we called this stories endpoint, grab the data, boom, got it. And if we look at the stories endpoint, this is what it looked like. We were in the midst of figuring out how to pass in these keys for filtering. However, I did some research, which basically params is literally just like what I thought it was. It was those like dynamic parameters, and that's not relevant here. The way I was passing in would work just fine. These parameters. However, the more I thought about it and looked at some other examples, I think it's better to create a different endpoint for each page. I feel like that will be a little more clear, and then basically move essentially the key stuff to that. Because also I did realize, find that doing the filtering in this file wouldn't be good, because whatever is returned here, even if we filter it, it's going to be embedded into the page. So yeah, let's do it. So where to start? Let me do some restructuring here. So I'm going to keep this API thing. Oh, also you can apparently just, I see a common practice is instead of calling this stories, we could call it stories.json.js. I guess that's maybe clear that that's what it's doing, is returning JSON. I'm not sure. But for starters, we'll rename this to index, because that is the endpoint that we're going to hit. So let's do that. And then I think that means in here, we just change it to index. I think we can just, let's see. Oh, sorry, we can say index.json. I think, I don't know, let's find out if this works. We're gonna move this. We're not gonna need this. Sorry, not gonna need both of these. So index.json. All this stuff is gonna be in here for now. Yes, okay, so let's cleaning the stories. Let's just start here. This is not going to do anything. Oh, I guess it will do something right now. I have one more thing I'm going to, I think, clean up to make stuff more reusable, but we'll start here. And let's actually just go ahead and call this body. Let's simplify this. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's find out. Load data. A file cannot load data. Index.svelte. It's this one. Oh, well, it's API index.json. Index.json. Bummer. I thought that was going to work. Maybe if we. Still not happy. Oh, so much for that theory. I thought that was supposed to work. let's see. Let's go back to what I thought it should be. So in theory, I think that should work. Maybe I have to. Let's actually go ahead and. No, still doesn't matter. JSON.stringify. Other thing I was thinking is if we have to give it a status, none of that matters. Great. Pretty sure that's like what we had before. That's fun. Let's not do anything at all. Oh, cool. We just totally reverted everything. Huh. Oh, there we go. I wonder if indexes. Nothing. All right, we're functional again. So first, just changing that to index. That really. Could that be like a special? Oh, maybe you literally can't use index. Okay. Fine. Index dot. Sorry, we're going to use home. JSON.js. Okay, still doesn't like this thing. Strange. I wonder why I can't. Okay, that's another thing to look into. But you know it works. And that definitely should be allowed. I mean, I don't know why not having a specifying the endpoint. I mean, sorry, the extension. That seems to be the ticket. Lovely. So that's what we're going to roll with. So now let's go back here. So we want to import our stories, clean our stories. And upload data. Clean stories is not defined. Of course it's not. And same with filter story props. Okay, we're back in business. We haven't changed much except for just changing that file name to home. However, next thing I wanted to do was, there's no reason that we need to be doing the cleaning here. So we can actually, I wanted to make the utils of clean stories just get stories. Obviously, it's in a break for now. So get stories is where we'll actually go ahead and do all the cleaning. There's no reason, like it's always going to need to be cleaned. So seems like that's a no-brainer. So then basically data. So now import get stories. So sorry, this will just give us the nice clean stories, import stories from util slash. You know what? I'm just going to call it stories because that's what it is. So that's a lot of file naming prompts going on. Stories. Should have worked. And the utils is just called stories. You don't need to clean stories anymore, right? Okay, that's a lot cleaner. And then, yeah, so basically we just do the keys, the filtering here. And something doesn't like me. Oh, what is this self-expecting? That's new. Sorry. Oh. Could not load data. Huh. Oh, maybe this is the problem. I don't know why. There's just too many. That's not the function name anymore. Do I want it to be a function? Should it actually just let me think about this. I guess I just want it to be an actual, it's not a function. Let's see if that works. Seems so nice. Oh, okay. There we go. So you need to restart things. Okay, so yep. So that now is just a file. Sorry, the clean data. Now we should be able to Okay, and then we return body. Great. So let's see, we want to include URL, date, month, head, tag topic, author, keyword, slug, which should now make that not undefined anymore. There we go. Beautiful. So that's, so basically let's now, so we would just have to recreate this every time we want to bring in stories for a different page. So right now, that's the only page that we're bringing in stories. If we have another place though, we want to use it, I'll just create another endpoint for that page. So let's go ahead and commit this. Okay. And then what else? And then also really any other data modification stuff I would end up doing here. So then we can keep this just about grabbing the data. So like keep it really clean and basically don't include as much data as possible. But let's see what to do. Let's mark off that issue for now. I'm sure something will crop back up. Let's see, what next? Oh, let's do maybe, well, first, let's get a slightly better looking page here. Well, not better, but these are going to eventually be links. I don't know why I decided to just do that now, but let's do that. Eventually, there'll be some that'll be like href. Also, I'm gonna do these as absolute URLs because we actually, because Svelte does a lot of stuff, so it'll do like prefetching and also like all this navigation stuff. So we actually want to treat it as an external page because all our projects are just kind of standalone applications. So log, is that stories? Oh no, URL. Huh. I already forgot that. URL. And then I think, so it doesn't get crawled, we have to say rel equals external, pretty sure. And let's just go ahead and throw a display. Slug is not defined. Oh, shouldn't matter. Oh, right, I took it out of the deconstructing. Whoa, all right. So if you can see in the very bottom hover, those look like the proper links. If we click it, it does work properly. I should show you what happens. I think if we didn't have this, it's going to 404 because it's going to, oh no, it's not because this is an absolute URL. But when it is hosted and on the same domain, that's when it's going to have a problem. So I think I'm pretty sure I read about this one. So let me just check the docs. Kit. I'm not making this up. External. There we go. Yes, because it does some magic stuff when you click on a link. And we want to force it to be external. So just putting that there so we remember. It might have even been an issue. Did I? No, I didn't. All right. Next thing maybe I want to do is, let's see, I know we actually converted our thumbnails, which are in static assets thumbnails, but let's go ahead and delete that old one. Where did those just go? Mentioned one of my issues is this common legacy stuff. So actually we want this to be static instead of assets, which is just kind of something I would typically do. We want it to be common. We shouldn't have to change anything because that assets folder doesn't even need to be there. You could have everything directly in static. But that is what we want to do. Then I'm going to go ahead and call that one closed because I remember to do that. There's something else I was going to do around that. Oh, yes. Port over legacy footer build. So it turns out those were also in our old site, are in, let me just jump site. See if we look at our dist folder. Oh, I did common assets. That's annoying. So I need to bring back assets. So the reason I have common is because on the root of our site, we have this generic assets folder that has stuff from way long ago. So not messing with that. So, okay, there we go. Author is MISC. SVG, what's MISC? Okay. Oh, okay. So in the root here, oh, right, because I mentioned the footer stuff. I'm actually don't even have to do anything. I just have to find where is in here. I thought it was somewhere around here. This is getting confusing. Let's just. Oh, footer gets its own folder. How about that? Well, let's just go ahead and copy that over. Maybe I don't even have to do anything. Let's see. Where? So we're back in. Okay, we're back in. Actually, let's stick in the terminal. Sorry, I'll make it bigger. Where are we? We're at root, so cd static. Cd common. Make their assets move thumbnails. Why do I need to? Yeah, I gotta keep everything. I might as well move the fonts too. TBD on that. I guess I'll do that. So typically I wouldn't have all this weird nesting, but again, like I mentioned, the legacy projects. So if you just, again, see that in tree mode, so static, common, again, that I normally wouldn't have that. I would just have an assets folder. Assets, okay. And like I said, need to have somewhere, you know what, the footer stuff is static. So I think it actually makes sense to put it in here. Let us go grab those, and those are just some JS files. So let's go ahead and just grab that folder. I forget where they're. Let's load up the old code base. They end up going, oh, right, they end up going in our generic assets folder, I see. So they really are treated separate. Honestly, I might even just put them, I'm going to keep them just in, yeah, they're by themselves. So they're preserved. All right, now we just need to remember to change, going back to our image processing script, thumbnails. let's just change our output path, which is now static common assets. That should be good. And everything moved. Okay, that's a thing. All right. I'm gonna call this done. I'll just make sure we need to add a task for upload everything to live site, which I definitely don't want to do now, but don't forget about special stuff like footer. Okay. This will be like a makefile task probably, but let's call that done. And then had that in there twice. Lovely. Actually, that's, I'm going to create a new issue for that. Basically, we need to bake out a footer data JSON file. That's what that footer script's using. That's pretty straightforward. Let me just go back to our old repo. Oops. If we look at this footer thing again, so we end up uploading the stories.json, which is just another simplified JSON of our most current stories. If you look at what that looks like, it's just got like the image, which is the slug, the URL, and the head and the topic. So that I'm gonna have to upload again or make another version. That should be pretty straightforward though. Yeah, and then let's go back. Oh yeah, so I read somewhere that the thing we are doing, and let's go to our index route. This I think might not be necessary because we're using, I think everything is pre-rendered regardless because I'm using the static adapter. So I'm actually going to go ahead and remove that bit, assuming it's true. We can actually just try that right now. Yeah. So let's see. Build. It makes sense that it broke. Again, this still works. So if you do make GitHub, I'll port everything over and we'll go test out GitHub pages in a sec, see if stuff is pre-rendered. While we wait for that to propagate, let's get back into it. Okay, we have our awesome links. Beautiful. Let's see if our common assets path is working. And put an image in there, which now we need slug. Now let's do image tag source equals. Now we can use relative stuff. Right, we can say common assets, thumbnails, 640 slug.jpg. And let's say max width Oh, awesome. It worked. Okay. Now we're back with images, which we'll eventually want to redo with a lot of images. One of the next image tasks, I've got responsive images. We've got the file sizes and lazy loading. Found a few links about, there's a lot of different stuff you could do with picture and source set and all that stuff. So it could be a good time to break that out. It's a little early, I think, until we figure out some design stuff. Maybe we don't use the images anymore, but for now, I know this works. Cool. What else? What else did I want to do next? Let's see. I feel like I want to get into, I guess I can start working on some of the other pages. I really want to do some design stuff, but I know that's too soon. Let's see. I suppose we could play around with some, let's play around with this. I mean, all this other stuff's gonna be super simple comparatively. I mean, this is also gonna be easy, but maybe we can just see what that looks like. Because we get to make another endpoint and use dynamic slugs. So let's start there. All right. Let's take a look at our other old route. Might as well just start here. Oh, I forgot. We wanted to check out GitHub. Website 2. That's website 2. It worked. I mean, it loaded. Let's have a look at the source code. Source code on Firefox. GPA choice, nice. And it's still pre-rendered. That's great. So, I mean, that's just awesome. Oh, and here you can actually see, this is what I was talking about. I read that if we like, oops. I don't know what I was looking for here, but I don't, it's everything's a link. God. If we go back here, it basically fakes. I know we said it like is going to do a call on the server and the client, but it turns out it's doing like a fake call. It's using this cached data. So if we look at, see, we already have like this API home endpoint with status 200 and JSON. And then look, there we go. It has all the data that we asked for and just that data. And so it basically hits this on load, which is fine. I mean, if it's not going to actually do anything though, and it's not hitting, and this is why it's actually extra important to make that file tiny, because if we used everything, it would have way too much. So it definitely is nice because it's minimizing it. I think if we actually said no hydration, then that would be stripped out, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have JavaScript in here somewhere. So I think that's just going to come with it. But you can see this is great. You got pre-rendering. My mouse is low on battery. It's crazy. Yeah. So anyways, that's a good thing. Nothing else to say about that. Let's keep going. On our, what were we going to do? Yes, our slug. Oh, sorry, our author pages. Again, assuming we're going to have these. So actually, we're going to have to, because actually we don't have, we could do a redirect, but we use these in a lot of places. So let's change this to API author. And this is where it'll get cool, I think. Let's see, stories. So let's say we just want to get the stories written by a certain author. That's probably a reasonable thing to do. Script export stories. Let's see, let's start there. API author, we'll need to create that. Let's just duplicate this. I do want to look into this too, though, because that was bothering me. Maybe I can edit that. Endpoint. Extend. Forget the way. Endpoint extensions. Finicky. Can't include .js or .json in the fetch URL. We'll maybe figure out why that's not working. All right, so we're gonna copy and paste. Rename author. And here, let's keep this simple for now. Let's just get like the URL and the headline and the author. Then I'll be able to know if it's working. And then I think this is where we're gonna lean into the params. Params. All right, console params. Nothing broke. Nothing broke. It's always scary when you hit save. Okay, let's find out what happens. Author / Russell. Something happened, which is great. Was it what I wanted to happen? I don't think so, because I don't see anything. Frames is empty. Let's go back to our docs. Oh, is it just, oh no, darn it, it is params. I really thought that was going to be something. Really did. All right, let's. So I thought that was going to be filled with something because we went to this. Let's see. We went to author and this dynamic route. And that is what we did, right? Yeah. And nothing. The example. Oh. Oh. So it's, oh, it's based on the name of the file. Also, still, look, they have JSON.js. Why isn't mine working? So the API needs to be dynamic. Cool. Assuming that means I can make this dynamic. Rename. Name. I think. And then back in our here, would it be, again, they don't give an example of calling it, which is, I guess, yeah, cool article. Okay. So here is where we would actually say, shoot, was it page dot? Now I'm gonna have to look this up. Let's go back to pages. Oh, sorry, load. Page.params.slug. Cool. Page.params.slug. Is this gonna work? I don't know what I was expecting to see here. Oh, closer. We got name undefined. Name undefined. Name. I'm assuming this is undefined right here. So let's actually just go ahead and log out page. Page.params.name. I don't know what oh, yeah, it's not called slug because I called it name. Oh, awesome. Okay. Almost awesome. Oh, look at that, Russell. Okay. We're in business. So Russell Goldenberg. That is me. Sweet. That's in there. Name.js. So params, let's deconstruct that. Double deconstruction. Now we can say filter equals data.filter dd.author. I think author is an array. Let's go back to our stories where we do some cleaning. It is an array. Interesting to note. We're gonna have to do some more cleaning here because I remember that author is just one word name, but then we have this other file that gets the full name. So I'll have to add that in to the GitHub issues. Bring in author data to author pages endpoint. Okay. So basically here, we're gonna have to do the same kind of deal with authors because we're gonna have to kind of get the slug from, so I don't just show you. So here we go. ID is the thing I'm looking for. There we go. So I'm gonna have to get this from the URL because that's how we have it structured in our previous site. And then find that and then do a filtering on the data. Okay. So let's just, let's do the same thing we did here. So stories, let's copy this. I call that data, that's bad, stories. Also going to go back to home.js stories, just for some consistency. Okay, so that means we need to go back to our utils folder. Copy, paste. And honestly, I feel like I might want to put this in the data folder rather than utils. I feel like semantically. How do I feel about that? It's a utility, but it is returning data. I'm doing it. I usually just reserve that for. No, that works. I'm down with that. Stories. Which means got to move some things around. Nice, that updated. Thank you. Magic code. Index. Oops, home.js, that's what I mean. I like that, it magically updated. All right, let's get out of there. Let's go to the authors data.js. So this is authors.csv. Let's look at what that looks like. Things are pretty straightforward. Definitely don't want that stuff. Pain. I guess it's all text. That's shoot. There's really actually no cleaning. It's just deleting some properties. Definitely not formatting. I guess we could make a slug. Yeah, that works actually. Slug, make slug d.name. That will be the slug in the URL. It's straightforward. Okay. Something's very unhappy. Import source from data. What? Should probably have some. All right, what's not happy? Let's just restart things. Oh, still not happy. Data is not defined. True. Very true. Because data is stories. And now we went to data. Okay, so let's pause. Good, that's not broken anymore. Let's see what authors looks like. ID, name, slug, position, Twitter, URL, bio. Amazing, that's not the right slug. We want to replace white space with dash. Do we? Yeah, do we? Yeah. Let's go with space. Okay, cool. So now that'll match what the URLs expect. So now, I don't know, what was the point of that? Oh yeah, so now we can do filter d.author. No, wait. we want to grab the author, const match equals match equals authors dot find d dot slug is equal to name. So we should have a single match for me. If I did this right. Undefined, lovely. Let's log out name again. Oh wait, why is that's backwards? Nice, smooth. And now we should have a match. Yep, boom. Okay, there we go. So now we can use the ID to filter out the stories. D.author, that's an array. Dot includes match.id. And if I did this right, filter.length, we should have, I don't know how many stories I've actually worked on, so this will be cool. 52. Amazing. That sounds like a lot. Maybe that's right. Okay. So we actually probably can serve up everything at once, right? We can just now say stories is filtered. I will probably come back and make better names at some point. And then author is match again, naming. So now we return that. Now, and we go back to our page in the routes, and it's actually expecting stories and author. Now that can be two props. And now export let stories, export let author. And let's go ahead and have an author page component, sorry. Index, how did I do it? I want to keep it consistent. Just kind of passed everything. Eventually we'll have some metadata to pass in stories. Author, that's, we don't want to use home, we use the author component, which probably doesn't exist. Unless we remember. Oh wait, we did not create one. Author.svelte. Export let stories, export let author. Let's really make this shine now. H1 author dots. I don't even know if name was one of them. Authors. Oh, it was okay. Author.name. And now let's do a little each loop. Each stories as, I think I only kept head and author in there for now, so that's all we get. Let's go with that. What happened over here? Nothing. Nothing happened. Meta is not defined. That's what happens. Oh, I didn't import any of the components. Close out all these tabs. Name. Yes, we need to import components to use them. Import meta from /. So check it out. It worked. And let's see. Yep, I definitely worked on all those stories. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to pause there. Until next time.